Welcome back, Patriots, to the Ball Brad Show. It is Wednesday, June 5th. And as always, Joe Biden is still by far the worst president in American history. Patriots, it's great being back with you on this fine Wednesday morning. Let's jump right into the news with Joe Biden. It's unbelievable. Joe Biden says he's more physically viable than Time reporters interviewing him. I can take you too. Okay. So Joe Biden's off his rocker once again, and he said he was more physically able to do the job of the presidency than anyone, appearing to joke in a new interview that he could beat up reporters who asked him about his advanced age. Biden sat down with Time magazine at the White House last month for a lengthy interview published on Tuesday. At one point, Biden was asked if he could still do the job as an 85-year-old man who will be considered too old to lead by many Americans if he wins a second term. Joey goes, I could do it better than anyone you know. You're looking at me. I could take you too, Biden told the Times. Jesus. Yeah, Biden. No, it's the same guy right here that said that. Here we go.
From Charlotte, another line going from in Florida down to Tampa. The best way to get something done, if you hold near and dear to you that you like to be able to. Anyway, the idea that and Joan Shingang, I'm going to pronounce right, Shanga. But there's, there to be, beginning this effort, and I want you to know that I want to thank you as well for. But the nature, not.
81, 82, 83 million votes. I don't believe it. And now Democrats are going, those are one-offs. It doesn't happen all the time. The guy's sharp as a tack. He's a mentor to everybody in the White House. He makes them better people, you guys. This comes from Karine Jean-Pierre, the mouthpiece of that dude. There's nobody else that could do the job better, according to Democrats. This was just yesterday. This was literally just yesterday. I'm telling you, those teleprompters wear heavyweight belts. They've never lost. There's two of them now.
To know, and I think the thing about, let me put it this way. I remember when I was vice president.
Jesus Christ, dude, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And this guy has the cojones to walk around going, I'm more physically fit than anybody I know and you know. Can we put Joe up against like a UFC fighter and just see how he does? Nobody actually believes that. Well, in other news, something I want to bring to your all attention and something you've been dealing with as well is just social media, big tech companies going after conservatives, Republicans, hell, just patriots in general. And Vivek Ramaswamy was on the Sean Ryan podcast not too long ago, and he was talking about how AI has basically been targeting Republicans, patriots for just having an American flag in their profile picture or somewhere on the screen. Check this out, and then I want to elaborate on this.
Is that many of those algorithms have been so trained that the AI itself now spots American flags that are on someone's profile. So if you're somebody who has an American flag in your social media profile, the algorithms are already trained to pay greater scrutiny to what you say.
Are you serious?
I'm not joking about this. And it's not a human being that made that judgment. It's the AI that itself has been trained to say that these are the kinds of people who need to actually be silenced and suppressed.
Now, I want to piggyback on this because he's partially wrong. The AI was trained based on the person, the human being that trained it. Now, what's happening with me, and I told you guys I would show the proof here, we have 57,000 subscribers. And what I'm about to reveal to you, I've never talked about here on the show, one of the phone calls that I had with YouTube. And I said, hey, I think at the time it was like 40,000 subscribers or something like that. And I was asking YouTube, why am I only getting 100 views per video, 300 views, when I have like 45,000 subscribers? Like, how does that make any sense? And they go, oh, well, your subscribers don't have their bell notifications on. They're not really engaging. They came up with all this hubbub. And I said, really? Like, I teach statistics. You're really telling me that out of 45,000 people, that I'm only getting 100 views, 150 views per video? It's a little bit strange. And also, why are my subscribers and members getting their comments deleted? Why are they being unsubscribed? They couldn't come up with any reason because they actually didn't believe me. And they go, well, we need to see proof. We want to see their comments and their emails that they're sending to you to actually show us what their usernames are and really figure out and dive deep into why they're being unsubscribed or their comments are being deleted. Like, they couldn't go in and do the work. I had to do the one or be the one to do the work. So we're at 57,000 subscribers, right? What they also told me during that same conversation was most of your subscribers are coming from your YouTube shorts. They're not actually coming from the videos, the podcasts that you're watching here themselves. So we would expect most of your views and also subscribers to be coming from your shorts. I said, okay, that's fine. That kind of makes some sense there. Few shorts have 5 million views, 4 million views, 3 million views, things like that. We did gain 1,000 subscribers from our shorts. Well, answer me this one, YouTube. And I'm showing you guys my screen here and what I see behind the scenes. Why is it that I post a video where it says Democrats plot to kill Donald Trump with a video selected from the Tucker Carlson podcast with Donald Trump Jr., where they're going to remove Donald Trump's Secret Service detail, and if he gets put in prison, he's not going to have anybody to protect him in there? So why is it when I have 57,000 subscribers, and let's just say 90% of those are from my shorts, why is it that I only have 479 views? Why is it that 80% of the people, and it's only increasing, by the way, as time goes on, are swiping to watch the video? Why is it that they are watching 100% of the actual video itself? Matter of fact, you guys, they're watching over 100% of the video. So why are all the metrics saying that I should be getting a lot more views? And why is it that only 479 people have seen it? Why is it that, again, you have over 1 minute of watch time? Folks, YouTube shorts are only a minute long. And you're damn right I'm going to beat a dead horse here. The average percentage viewed was 111.5%. They're watching it more than what's actually there, meaning they're watching it over again. Explain to me all these things. Explain to me why you are only sending it out to a few hundred people. Why are you doing all these things, YouTube? Because it really doesn't make sense to me, and it doesn't make sense what you told me. It seems like somebody's lying here, and it kind of feels like YouTube's the one that's lying, because they haven't been sending this to anybody, and it's been a couple days now. And so I just want to show you all what I deal with from my end, where now they're saying, well, all your views are coming from shorts. 57,000, let this sink in, you guys. 57,000 people. You're telling me a couple hundred people are only watching it? This is the crap we deal with. They're censoring conservatives. I said this was going to happen going into the election. I'm curious, so I'm going to start uploading shorts every single day, and I want to see how many actually don't get out to people. It's really odd. It's really weird, but this goes on with our videos, you guys. Our videos do fine. Our videos get, 500. Sometimes we get up to 1,000 views. To put in perspective, what you tend to see with somebody with 57,000 subscribers is you tend to see about 5 to 10% in terms of viewership. We're not getting that because I think we're being shadow banned, and I think a lot of you think we are as well. So that's what's coming up here with this election. Search for my name, find the content, leave comments down below, because we got to fight these you-know-what's back, because this is getting ridiculous, YouTube. And last time I announced this on my channel, all of a sudden when I said, YouTube, we're watching you, we know what's going on, all of a sudden my viewership spiked a little bit. It was really weird. Really weird that when I start calling out YouTube and I say this verbally, all of a sudden we get more views. So put in the comment section, let YouTube know that we're all watching and we're tired of the shenanigans. This is ridiculous. And I think they don't like the fact of the title. I think they don't like the fact that we're calling them out, that Democrats are trying to plot kill Donald Trump. And I really do think that they are. I really do think that they're trying to do everything they can to remove that man from this earth. Well, we're going to move past that, folks. We're going to get into some illegal immigration news here, where Reform California chairman slams proposal mandating illegal immigrants be hired for taxpayer-funded state jobs. Let this one sink in, folks. If you think that this isn't coming to a state near you, remember, California is always the guinea pig state. We're kind of the state where they try everything out before they roll it out everywhere else. So Reform California is blasting an assembly bill the Democrats in the California state legislature are proposing that will direct the University of California system to begin hiring illegal immigrants for taxpayer-funded state jobs. Isn't that insane? Now they're replacing our jobs. We pay for their shelter. We pay for their electricity. We pay for their lawyer fees. We pay for their education. We pay for any sort of meal services that's there. We're paying for their lawyer fees if I already didn't say that one. We're paying for their travel expenses. We're paying for their health care. We're paying for everything. And now they're getting our jobs when we can't even sit there and barely afford a grocery bill on our end, and we're struggling to pay for gas. And by the way, gas is going to go up. Yes, the Arab nations are going to sit there and limit the supply of gas because they hate Joe Biden. They all said that they want Donald Trump back in office. So get ready this summer, folks. You're going to be paying a lot more in energy. I have seen a lot of outrageous proposals from California Democrat politicians bending over backwards to make it easier for illegal immigrants to get in and to get taxpayer benefits. But this one absolutely tops the list of insane ideas. If passed, this bill would provide state government jobs at taxpayers' expense for illegal immigrants once again. Oh, so it mandates that illegal immigrants with no U.S. work authorization should be given access to apply for and take jobs provided through taxpayer-funded universities run by the state government. By passing a law to mandate that illegal immigrants be hired for taxpayer-funded jobs in state government, California Democrats are not only making our border crisis worse, they're openly violating federal employment laws that prohibit the hiring of illegal immigrants. Should we be surprised? Look what Joe Biden's doing with the student loan debt forgiveness program. Supreme Court says, hey man, you can't do that. It's an overreach of the executive branch. He does it anyways. He doesn't care because nothing happens to these people. Now, speaking of nothing happening to these people, yeah, Hunter Biden, nothing happened to him. Now, I want to bring this article up for two reasons. The first one is, look what they're doing to Donald Trump, right? The guy doesn't fill out paperwork correctly. Felonies, right? 34 of them. Now, Hunter Biden here has video of him doing drugs with prostitutes, all these things, right? Not to mention the whole money funneling from Romania, Ukraine, China, Burisma Holdings, not to mention the quid pro quo that Joe Biden did on camera. None of this stuff, okay? All this stuff is happening here. And the reason why I bring that up is, if you didn't do all these things to Donald Trump and his family, if you didn't impeach him, right, use the justice system, basically weaponize the justice system the Democrats did to go after Donald Trump, truthfully, I really wouldn't care about Hunter Biden filling out some paperwork and lying on it for a gun. Truthfully, I really don't care. But the fact of what the Democrats have been doing, I'm okay with this. Well, for the first time Tuesday, first son Hunter Biden's notorious laptop from hell, whose scandalous contents were first reported by the Post nearly 4 years ago, was shown to a jury of his peers. Hold on. Whoa. Pump the brakes. The same system of mainstream media and the big tech companies that are literally censoring us right now. If you didn't see that other segment, you're just jumping in and out of the live stream. Check out our previous segment where I showed proof that we're being shadow banned with 57,000 subscribers. Never bought a subscriber, never bought a view, never did anything. The only thing I bought is advertisements here for the show, which is legit. And we only get a couple hundred views when we have 57,000 subscribers on our YouTube shorts. Really weird. The same people sat there and said, well, the Hunter Biden laptop's not real. Our own intelligence apparatus said the exact same thing. The laptop's not real. You're conspiracy theorists, right? Just like the Democrats been calling us. Oh, you're conspiracy theorists with COVID. You're conspiracy theorists with election fraud. You're conspiracy theorists with all these things. Oh, it's Russian disinformation. That's what they said before the election, right? In 2020. This isn't real. And then they transitioned to it. Well, now it's not just disinformation. It's Russian misinformation was what they said. This doesn't exist. Turns out it did. So no longer are we conspiracy theorists. In the same way, we said a lot of things about COVID that we couldn't say because we'd be silenced. We'd be removed. We'd be deplatformed from mainstream media, big tech services. Oh, well, all of a sudden, all of it's true. That social distancing sounds like a lot of BS. Turns out Anthony Fauci said himself, well, I just made it up. There's no data to support it. Just pulled it out of thin air. It's astonishing how a lot of the stuff that we said wasn't real turns out to actually be real. It's funny how we're always labeled something by Democrats, and then what they label us as just turns out to be false. So the laptop was real. They got to see it, and we're going to keep you updated on what actually happens with this trial. And I think something will happen to Hunter Biden just because of the backlash of the justice system that's been going on with Donald Trump. So if they want any integrity, I would imagine if they want to even it out, which ain't going to happen with this, I think something's going to happen to Hunter Biden. Well, speaking of our justice system, we got Ted Cruz speaking truth here, folks, because he slammed Democrats just the other day for being willing to destroy the U.S. justice system just so they can win elections and stay in power. And I don't think that they're just destroying our justice system. I think they're destroying multiple branches of our government, including the executive branch, with Joe Biden's handling of the southern border, as well as going beyond the overreach of the executive branch and paying off student loan debt for Americans because they're due for it, you guys. They are owed to have their debt relieved, even though nobody in the White House can explain why they're due for their debt to be relieved, nor why the taxpayer owes them anything. They couldn't explain any of that. But you are sitting there co-signers to everybody's loans now, according to Joe Biden. And the reason why I say this is a tarnish, however you want to phrase it, chiseling away at the executive branch, or I guess not even saying chisel away, making it bigger, because now since he has overstepped his authority utilizing the executive branch, what's stopping the next president from doing that, even if it's Trump? I'll be honest, I didn't like a lot of the executive actions that Trump put in place. I think it's an overreach and overuse of that branch of government. I don't think we should be utilizing executive actions just willy-nilly. So Cruz made the remarks during his verdict podcast with co-host Ben Ferguson while discussing last week's guilty verdict that the Manhattan jury doled out in District Attorney Alvin Bragg's criminal trial. So here's what he actually said. If you contrast America to banana republics, the difference is you have the rule of law. The difference is you don't do this. And these Democrats, they hate Trump so much, they don't care. They're willing to destroy it all, right? Let's get to Alvin Bragg. Alvin Bragg, mind you, he is suddenly tough on crime. Yeah, this guy who, if you murder people, if you rape people, if you walk down the street and you punch a little old lady in the face, Alvin Bragg will let you go. By the way, this seems like, oh, he's just doing a bit, like he's just faking it. No, he's not at all. Look at California. California has no cash bail. You could sit there and perform heinous crimes and you're back out on the street. Look what Joe Biden's doing with illegal immigrants. There's illegal immigrants that have done some heinous crimes back on the street, go and murders American. Goes and rapes and murders a little girl. It's truly wild stuff. It's not fake. It's not satire. He's 100% correct here. Cruz said that Bragg had a politically objective that he wanted to achieve, or political objective rather, in court against Trump. He was trying to reelect Joe Biden. He said he's trying to stay in power. And that is correct. I mean, Alvin Bragg ran. He campaigned on putting Trump behind bars. The U.S. Supreme Court has long made clear in order to convict someone of a crime, you must prove beyond a reasonable doubt every element. Those are key words, every element of the crime. And the jury must find unanimously, again, key word, that you are guilty. You have committed every element of the crime. What the judge said, there is no number one. This unlawful means anything unlawful. Like, whatever. Like, what are we not going to define it? But I'm going to give you 3 jurors' choice. Your pick. It's like mix and match, choose your own adventure. Again, when we covered this in real time, I said regarding this trial, what the judge was doing was I think he knew Trump wouldn't be convicted based on what the jury was going to do and what was being said through the trial, through that 6 weeks of trial. So I think he sat there and did some foozery that we saw because he wanted to create the best probability in his favor statistically that would put Trump in terms of being labeled a felon through a guilty verdict. That's what I think his thought process was. And a lot of people are going, there's no way they're going to put Trump behind bars. Why go this entire way? Like, why put so much effort in this trial to find him and convicted guilty? Like, why do all these things if you weren't going to finish the job? There's an Act 3 to all this. The Act 3 is putting Trump behind bars. And I think they're going to do it, you guys, which is only going to make Trump stronger and more powerful in the sense of accumulating more money for his campaign. The RNC right now is trying to figure out how they're going to do all this behind prison bars. Like, it's pretty wild stuff. What the hell's going on here? Well, speaking of Joe Biden, the chaos, the executive branch, and illegal immigration, Biden signs weak executive order. We did cover this yesterday, but he actually did it. We said it was up in the air because according to Joe Biden, well, he exhausted all his resources. There was no other resources to use. He used them all, you guys, over the 4 years that he thought about this. Well, President Joe Biden signed a weak executive order on Tuesday to address the border crisis he caused that has resulted in millions of illegal aliens overrunning the border over the last 3.5 years. Again, now they're getting your jobs that we just saw in California. If that's passed, they are actually getting your jobs in other states. Your taxpayer dollars are going to them. Like I said, $84,000 are going to illegal immigrants. I think it's Chicago. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's Chicago. You're paying for their lawyer fees. They're paying for their health care. You're paying for their education. It's completely destroyed the infrastructure in some cities around the United States. And so you have those Democrat cities begging Joe Biden for some sort of assistance, and he's not willing to give it to them. Biden signed an executive order that will temporarily shut down asylum requests once the average number of daily encounters tops 2,500. Now, as I mentioned, this is completely misleading on what the media is telling all of you. The media is gaslighting you. They're lying to you regarding what this is. It is correct that they're going to shut down asylum requests, but they're not shutting down the border. What I mean by that is this 2,500 that's taking place is only for ports of entry. We all know that most of these people pouring across the border are not coming in through necessarily ports of entry. They're also coming through, I don't know, the massive gaps that are at the southern border the Democrat Party didn't want to fill in 2016 and 2020. Remember that whole conflict with Donald Trump, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer? Donald Trump couldn't even get $3 billion for national security to protect our borders, of which terrorists funnel through. But it's so easy for Congress and these Democrats to swipe the pen for everybody else's country. Isn't that weird? Ukraine gets billions. Israel gets billions. Gaza gets billions. Hundreds of millions of dollars in humanitarian aid. Iran that has a policy. It's not a slogan. This comes directly from the Ayatollah, the supreme leader. It's not a policy. Or sorry, it is a policy. It's not a slogan. Death to America is not a chant. It's a policy, not a slogan. Okay? That comes from themselves. They also perform parades chanting death to America. They chant death to America in their government chambers. It's all on video. We've all seen it. They get $10 billion of our money. Yeah. People go, well, Brad, that's the government Iran. That's not necessarily the people. Okay, let's pause. Where are all the videos out of all these countries that are getting tens and billions of dollars? Millions, billions, however you want to phrase it. Where are all the thank you letters? Where are all the thank you videos from people in those countries to the government officials? Because all you see in the UN is them talk shit about the United States, Israel, and our allies. That's all they do. You could read it in Nikki Haley's book, whether you're a fan of her or not. She was the UN ambassador. She reveals everything that goes on behind the scenes with the United Nations. Great book. It's called With All Due Respect. You should read it because she tells you the shenanigans, the backstabbing, the two-faced things that these freaking nations say about us. I don't like it. And you have this guy here tarnishing every aspect of this country, our allies, and just sending our money to everybody else rather than Americans itself. Former Obama Homeland Security Secretary Mr. Johnson previously said that 100 apprehensions at the border in a day was a bad number that overwhelms the system. Texas was seeing upwards of 15,000 a day at one point. Just Texas. A former U.S. law enforcement official told the Daily Wire that the executive order was designed to do little more than generate headlines, correct, and that Mexican drug cartels would simply send the migrants they are smuggling into the country to official ports of entry to turn themselves in. The administration released a fact sheet that claimed that illegal aliens who enter the U.S. would be barred from receiving asylum. However, the fact sheet said that these actions are not permanent, of course, because the plan is, all of you know this, that Joe Biden wants the votes. The Democrats want the votes later on. He's already said very clearly, we covered this again yesterday, that he wants to give all these people asylum. He wants to give 10 plus million people just under his administration asylum, plus the other 15 to 20 million that are already present in this country prior to Joe Biden coming into office, amnesty as well. So that's what's taking place here. And you have Speaker Mike Johnson saying it's window dressing. Everybody knows it. Look, it's just to meet headlines. Joe Biden waited 3.5 years to do something. This guy took like a year, I think it was a year and a half, just to go to the border. He just went to El Paso for 3 hours, never saw an illegal immigrant. Kamala Harris early on actually flew over the border to go to South America to find the cause of why there's millions of people pouring into our country illegally. And what she got out of that was, first, when she landed, she passed out cookies with her face on it. That's not a joke. That really happened. She passed out sugar cookies with her face on it. We covered it and we showed the pictures. Then she goes and meets with the president and some people in South America, and she comes back with this mind-bending response going, oh, well, it's because of climate change. It's because they're having drought. Really? So why is it predominantly just military-age males pouring across the border? I don't see too many women and children pouring across the border. I see a lot of them. I mean, that's what you're going to get, right? You're going to get a big portion of somebody when you got 10 million people pouring across the border. But why is it predominantly military age men. That's weird. Not a ton of elderly people and all this other stuff. Really odd. So Joe Biden actually signed it. It's not going to solve anything. And it's definitely not going to solve anything because while much of the blame for the border, yes, falls on Joe Biden and the Democrat Party, there's also a massive network of government-funded, religiously affiliated nonprofit organizations that's spending massive sums of money. This isn't like 100,000 or 1 million. Folks, when we get into these numbers, pull over, make sure you don't have a sip of coffee in your mouth because you're going to spit it out and maybe get in a car accident because these numbers are big. Massive sums of money to facilitate waves of illegal immigrants into the United States. Now, if you've been a longtime viewer of the Bald Brad Show, early on, we showed videos of a lot of these illegal immigrants, these illegal aliens going into churches, and then they were going through the churches out the back door, sometimes not even entering. They're just getting into unmarked vans that's being supplied by these NGOs, by these government-funded, religious-affiliated nonprofits, and being driven to various places around the country. That was probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago, we were looking at this footage. So these groups, which present a religious group, or rather they present themselves as religious groups, have cemented roles in the importation of millions of migrants into the United States. They encourage migration along the Central American route that leads to the U.S. border, then offer cash as well as legal and resettlement services to more, holy lordy, to many of the more than 10 million people who've attempted to cross the border since Biden took office. Now, the NGOs, which on their face represent Jewish, Catholic, and Protestant Christian faiths, rake in millions of taxpayer dollars as they create a pipeline. You are funding this thing, folks. Joe Biden, Democrat Party, have been in cahoots with these NGOs, and you are actually funding an invasion of this country. Isn't that an astonishing thing? In the same way, we are also funding wars that are happening all around the globe. We are throwing money just basically into the trash can. You're paying for people's food, their water, their shelter. You are paying for other people's lifestyles. This is not going back into Americans' pockets. It's not going back into fixing our roads. There's a reason why New York City subway system looks like shit and everybody else's around the world looks great, because everybody else around the world isn't sending money to us. It's us sending money to everybody else. So they could sit there and afford to rebuild their infrastructure. They could sit there and afford to do this or that because we're the ones that are supplying our own defense, our own military for their protection. We're the police of the world. We're the military to all our allies. And so not only that, why are they not paying us for the military services that we're offering and the protection that we're offering? Why are they not giving us money left and right? Why is it always us sending everybody else money? You're damn right I'm pissed because we have people here really struggling, like our veterans living on the streets, really struggling. And it gets me going. There's no reason that our government should be supporting everybody else. They should be supporting us first. If we don't have the money to give somebody else, I'm sorry, we don't have the money. If you don't have, let's just pretend, right? We'll use our channel as an example. Let's say memberships, right? If you don't have the money to give to a membership, then how could you give the money to the membership when you don't have any money? In the same way, if you needed to give a homeless person money and you don't have money, how could you possibly give it to them? And it'd be irrational to give it to them because you don't have the money in the first place. You shouldn't take out credit to fund somebody else's lifestyle or somebody else. I know those are terrible analogies, but you understand where I'm going with this. Those are really bad analogies now that I think about it. Look, you know what? You get real-time me, okay? By the way, there's not a plug to put money in the membership, nothing like that. It's Bidenomics, folks. Things are tough. You just watching, hanging out with us. Again, that is more than enough. I'm looking at you in the eyes. It's more than enough. You're hanging out with us as a community. That's all that matters. I don't want people to think, oh, well, this is another plug and all these things. No. So the Conservative Heritage Foundation has called it a corrupt money changing circle in which taxpayers are funded, migration weaponization used against America's interests. I mean, this is an insane article, you guys. Look at this. HIAS, which boasted a revenue of almost $150 million in 2022, offers a wide range of services to migrants both before and after they enter the United States. It provides maps to their facilities to guide migrants through the treacherous Darien Gap, works with a number of partnership organizations to resettle migrants once they arrive in the United States, provides cash assistance once they've settled. The organization also openly advocates for the United States to increase its resettlement program. You are paying for this. Look at this. They receive funds from the federal government, your money. They received almost $250 million since 2021 in a refugee aid grant. This is wild. The organization's CEO, well, he pulled in nearly $400,000 in compensation. That's almost as much as the president of the United States gets paid. This is remarkable. Look at Catholic charities received an astonishing $1.4 billion from federal government in 2021. Now, that's all of them combined. But again, it's showing that a lot of these services are going towards not helping Americans, but helping other people. Look at the organization boasts that resettled 12,000 Afghans in 36 different states in 2021 alone. Why our own veterans are on the streets. They can't get a hot meal. I'm smiling because if I don't smile, I'm going to lose it. That's why. People that gave the ultimate sacrifice, they wore the boots, they went through the training, they wore the uniform, they went and got sent out, they were on deployment, they fought for this country, whether you like it or not, they should be put first. They should be put first before my ass. At least I have the balls to admit it. I didn't serve. My father did, my grandfather did. I didn't serve. And you know, out of that, that's why I want to have a voice for those that did serve. Man, it gets me going, dude. Well, transition. I didn't have any of that. I didn't have a smooth transition for that. I'm sorry. Well, this is truly crazy. So BMW was forced by libs of TikTok to explain their Twitter page. And it all has to do with Pride Month. So BMW's official corporate account, and wait till you hear the response, on X said the quiet part out loud when someone dared to ask why the car company's Middle East facing logo had not been subjected to the same Pride Month rainbow flag treatment as the logo seen in the United States. It wouldn't be culturally acceptable there is why. Now, they are sitting here, libs of TikTok, showing all the BMWs, right? Everywhere around the world. And if you notice, you have all these other companies posting about it, right? The LGBTQ flag. But notice all the Middle East companies. Weird. BMW, Cisco, Bethesda. Weird. And so people asked, how come you don't properly display your logos, pride colors on your Middle East posts? BMW actually responded. Folks, this is going to blow your mind. So this is part 4 of 4. This is like the meat of it. This is an established practice at the BMW Group, which also takes into consideration market-specific legal regulations and country-specific cultural aspects. And people caught it. Mary Catherine Ham, BMW, when you want to be stunning, but not brave. You also have another individual here, Noam Blum, saying, we're visibly pro-LGBTQ, except where it's unpopular to be visibly pro-LGBTQ. Sure is a thing to publicly admit doing on your corporate social media account. It's so insane. Hey, LGBT, BMW admits it uses you for profit and marketing. If you truly cared about gay rights, it would change its logo in countries not friendly to gays. They're getting, folks, they were getting reamed on social media. Wouldn't it make more sense to display the logo where oppression against the LGBTQ plus community is highest? Otherwise, you just look patronizing and as though you're using our community for marketing purposes and not due to solidarity. Correct. Everybody's known this on the right. Everybody knows what these companies do, and the left just leans into it. No, they have our backs. They love us. Really, it's really odd to me how these people prance around in their parades. And again, I don't care if people are gay. I have gay friends. Doesn't faze me one bit. But when you sit there and you're going and protesting against what's happening with Israel, and you're in support of Hamas that hates the LGBTQ community, it's a little odd for me to see your shenanigans. And now the same thing with BMW. BMW admitting it only believes in what it considers to be human rights when it doesn't offend the countries where human rights are actually on the line. That's the best one. Sonny killed it there. Correct. Correct. Well, speaking of other preposterous things, we got Ouchie Fauci, former White House medical advisor, changed his views of COVID vaccines from 2021 to 2024. And you're damn right, we got the clip, folks. We got the receipts here. I want to make sure it doesn't buffer on us once again. So here's Fauci in 2024 and 2021 flipping the script.
The COVID vaccine 100% effective?
I don't believe any vaccine is 100% effective.
So although you don't like to see breakthroughs, the fact is this is one of the encouraging aspects about the efficacy of the vaccine. It'll either protect you completely against infection. If you do get infected, the chances are that you're going to be without symptoms, and the chances are very likely that you'll not be able to transmit it to other people.
The COVID vaccine.
Why is it that Democrats, I mean, this guy's a Democrat. There's no way in hell this guy's a Republican or conservative. Why is it that they think as if there's not video. Do you know what I mean? Like there's not proof to say, oh, you said this thing. If you don't remember what you said, I mean, I've recorded, I don't know, like 2,000 videos or something like that here on YouTube since we started 3 years ago. I'm not going to remember everything I said. I'll listen to the person and go, well, it doesn't sound like something I said. And if they pull up a video that I said it, then you know you said it. But what's odd here is it's it's black and white. It's night and day between the two. But that's what he does. He just continues to freaking lie about the COVID transmission. He lied about the masks. He lied about how it spread. He lied about the vaccine just in general. He did nothing but sit there and act like a reed in the wind and lie to all of us. And quite frankly, now that he's being called out, like we just covered in yesterday's episode, I hope something happens, because he sat there and blamed all of us if you're unvaccinated, going, hey, well, you were responsible for 200,000 to 300,000 deaths. You're a conspiracy theorist if you do a podcast and say something and have an opinion according to people. That's what was stated in yesterday's episode. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. Well, speaking of checking things out, it seems like these university colleges and systems are finally like restructuring themselves. They're reverting back to what they used to do. And here's what I mean. Harvard University's Faculty of Arts and Sciences is eliminating the requirement for prospective tenure-track faculty members to submit a statement on how they will promote diversity, inclusion, and belonging. They're starting to see the crippling effects of this ideology. They're starting to see that race should not have to do with anything in terms of anything. And why I bring that up is because they do affirmative action, which just gets you in a university of your choosing based inherently on your race, not based on anything else, your cognitive ability or whatever. Then they also have their hiring practices doing the same thing. If you want to see an example of an affirmative action hire, a DEI hire, look at Karine Jean-Pierre and just how unqualified and terrible she is at her job. I'm not just saying this because she's the mouthpiece of a Democrat president and she's a Democrat herself. She is legitimately the worst White House press secretary that's ever been had since the existence of this country or since the existence of that job. She is the worst. There's been nobody worse than her. I mean, Jen Psaki was pretty bad, but Karine Jean-Pierre tops it. So I like what they're doing here because I think they see how crippling this is. And it's not just the DEI stuff. They're also bringing back the SAT and ACT. And really all those exams are IQ scores. The reason why that's important is because people are dropping out of these universities. They're not able to compete. So you have people that are legit that got into that university based on their grades, and they actually have a high SAT and ACT score, which people still do submit. And basically, like I said, it's just an IQ score at the end of the day. It's really all it is. Well, you have people that aren't submitting that aren't taking SAT. Grades are inflated in high school. Grades are not real. I have to explain that to people. Grades are not real. Your son or daughter may have legitimately got an A, B, or C, but most likely, if they got an A, in realistic terms, that's actually a B. Just always take it down a grade level. Your GPA, take it down 1 point in GPA. That's probably most realistic. Or if you want to be soft, 0.5 of a GPA. That's probably the realistic numbers because grades are so inflated. Why do I say that? Because some school districts allow somebody to get 100% when they don't even turn in a single assignment. Some people do 50%. You don't have to show up to school anymore to pass. This is not a joke. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not showing you or talking about extreme outliers. This is all real. And so people are going into these university systems that they have no business being in. They shouldn't even be in college in the first place, that are getting into Harvard, Yale, Columbia, all these Ivy Leagues, and they're just not able to make it. So Harvard and all these Ivy Leagues are starting to bring back the SAT because they realize that they fucked up royally, and they're allowing in all these people that shouldn't belong there in the first place, and it's actually deteriorating their university, and it's giving them a bad image, just like you're seeing right now with all these pro-Hamas protests. It's truthfully wild. It's truthfully wild stuff. So I wanted to bring that to your attention because maybe we're finally seeing the university systems waking up and reverting back to what they used to be, actually giving some sort of education. But always curious on what you guys think about anything we cover here on the show. Always appreciate hanging out with you Patriots. You know I love you to death. Again, we do have a membership, but you just watching our videos all the way through, that's what does yeoman's work here on the channel. You see the uphill climb that we're having to do. I showed you the real proof there of even our shorts that are our most popular videos. Shorts by far are our most popular. Now we're at the point where they're only giving us even a couple hundred views on videos that should be getting, I'm talking like 15 minimum 1,000 views of video. We're not even getting that. So they're doing some foozery. It's not just my channel. It's happening to many conservative outlets out there. Supporting us by hitting that like and subscribe button, sharing our videos, and again, watching all the way through. That's the way you can support us most. If you want to go above and beyond, then that membership tab's there. 99 cents a month. Goes back into advertising, which we do promote. We do spend a couple hundred at least a month on advertising, meaning getting our videos out there to new viewers because of what's going on with YouTube. So we do put money, almost 100% actually, of our money back into the show. So we don't make anything. You helping us out would be greatly appreciated. I'm done talking. Enough of my plugs. We do have a website. I guess I'm not done. And we have a book. We have merch, all that fun stuff. I'll see you tomorrow, Patriots, here on the Ball Brad Show.